But if they're not either one of those two, then you don't need to be designing a product and service for that customer. You need to look towards the other ones, because if you don't, I guarantee you're not going to capture enough value in your business, and you're going to go out of business, or you're going to be always tight on cash. There are a lot of people who engage in business, making side hustles, starting startups, and it's really easy to lose yourself as a creator. You don't really think of yourself as someone who's creating something. It is incredibly hard to create something. It takes a lot of energy, focus, and ideally discipline, but it's extremely exciting. To anyone who has created something, you know the taste, you know the feeling. There's nothing like it when you can go back and look and see how you've impacted other people. I mean, there is nothing like that, few things like that rush. I say that because as a dad, there are a lot of things actually. But here's the thing. How do you know what you're making is actually legit? How do you actually design a product in a way that people want? There was an interesting comment from one of my connections who posted this other framework about differentiating features in a product versus table stakes. You know who you are. And it's such a great article. It reminds me of value proposition design. This is another thing that I teach to my business students. Value proposition design is simply this. It's a framework used by Alex Osterwalder. It meant to expand the value proposition relationships with customer segments. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry, those videos will be coming up. It's about business model canvas. It's about the framework in which you can slot your organization and your business into this 9-segment framework that can apply to any organization. Super cool. Back here to value proposition design. It gets really interesting when you look at multiple customer segments and you analyze each defined segment's jobs, pains, and gains. That is, the things they have to do to buy your product, the things they have to do to solve their problem. And actually might involve your product, might not, or your service. Pains. What are the things that just drive them crazy, that are just so painful that they are here looking for your product to begin with? And then the gains. What are things that would be absolute wins for them? Jobs, pains, and gains. This framework, right? You can apply this to one customer segment, but if you're making a product for this, that's kind of basic. That's kind of easy. Like if you design one product and one service for one customer in mind, you should be able to pull that off, right? You can talk to that customer, figure out where they don't need things, where they really need things, how the experience works. That's why agencies exist. That's why those business models work, those service models, right? Because you have clients and you go one to one to one. What's really, really hard is when you have to make one product or service for many. Once you catalog each segment's jobs, pains, and gains, you do that for all of them. You look together at the totality and you prioritize which jobs, pains, and gains you want to address with your product. So in order to make a good product and service, you have to be aware of what your customers are wanting and not wanting. And more importantly, you have to be aware of how costly or how feasible, infeasible it is to actually make the things that they want. If you're designing a feature of your product or service for just 1 out of 100 customers, that 1 out of 100 customer better be an enterprise customer that's going to make all your sales for this long. If it's not, they also better then reflect the future of your company and product and service. And so you want to double down on that direction, and that makes sense. But if they're not either one of those two, then you don't need to be designing a product and service for that customer. You need to look towards the other ones, because if you don't, I guarantee you're not going to capture enough value in your business, and you're going to go out of business, or you're going to be always tight on cash. I'll expand the value proposition design more. What you need to do if you want to engage with this further is think about, what are the different segments that I'm selling to? And with that, I'll see you later on more of the value proposition design stuff.